Stephen here says, is creating a company and intimate family relationship wife and intimate family relationship is a significantly more impactful experience than simply having a meaningful relationship friend, LTR, and a local community. That depends. It depends on your wife. It could be the most miserable choice in your entire life, bro. It could be the worst thing you ever do. Quite literally. So that's entirely dependent on, who you decide to, put a ring on her finger and a baby in her belly. So careful. Oh, hang on. I think we got Steve here in the background. Steve, is that you? Is that your question? Yes.
Yeah, Rich.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having. Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah. Okay. You got a little more hair in this picture over here. It looks like you shaved your head since.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I've gone monk mode, literally.
Okay.
I became red pill like many folks after going through a divorce. So, I'm in my early 40s at this point, but I got my money right, had a successful career in the capital markets. And so, I find a lot of inner peace with the meditation and, everything that I've been focusing myself. But now I'm looking at, the remainder of my life. It's like, what's the next mountain to climb? And so I'm wondering, is it worth it to go out and, create a family?
Do you have kids right now?
No, I don't have children.
Okay.
No.
So your first marriage netted no children, but you had the experience of the marriage didn't work out. Why didn't you have any kids with that wife?
Well, that's when the rubber came to the road, when it was time to, have kids after married for a few years, and it was like, okay, now it's time to have children. That's when she decided she wanted to have a divorce and, try to take my wealth from me. So it was a bad choice from the beginning. But for me, it's not something that I really have a burning desire, but it just seems what else to do, because I'm not really motivated much by material things. I have a nice car, I have all the things that I would want. You're not really wanting for more, but that's why I wonder if focusing on relationships is sort of the next month. It's worth it.
Let me get you just
to run that risk, to roll the dice, like you're saying, with picking the right woman.
Steve, let me just stop you for a second. Let me just get you to roll your cursor down to the bottom and hit stop cam just to kill your video feed, because the audio keeps breaking up. I need the audio more than I need the video, just so I can hear what you're saying. So just kill the video. There you go. All right, let's try that again. So you're how old right now?
I'm 41.
Okay, and is kids something that you want, or is
so
it like
I've
you're
made
bored and you're
enough
thinking that's the only
money
thing you haven't done?
in the capital markets. Be retired. I'm effective. It's kind of that I'm bored. I am still active in the markets to do with my time, but none of these things are like long-term projects, if you know what I mean.
Where do you live?
I'm looking for something to, spend 10 years doing.
Okay. Where do you live, man?
I live in Tennessee.
Okay. That's a father-friendly state, so that's good. I think shared custody is default there, so you probably wouldn't have to fight over that. You would want to spend a couple of years vetting the chick. So the standard protocol for your ask is really spin some plates, let the cream rise to the top. She's gonna at some point say, Steve, I dig your vibe. I want to claim you. I don't want to share you, sort of thing. I'm looking for something serious. When that gal shows up, then you take a look at her. You take a serious look at her. You see if she's got, a bunch of red flags or not. If she doesn't, then you can decide at that time, okay, I'm still kind of interested in kids. She's young enough to have kids. She doesn't have any red flags. I like her. We get along. And then you want to date her for a couple of years, year and a half to 2 years, because women can act for, I think my psychiatrist friend Sean said that they can act for about a year and a half to 2 years. So you want to date them for about a year and a half to 2 years, travel, see how she handles stress, difficult situations. See if she has the bright triad traits rather than the dark triad traits. And if it looks good, then put some babies in her, if you want to have some kids. I'm not a big fan of marriage, so I wouldn't do it, by inviting the state in my house and the ceremony and all that sort of stuff. But you can have children with a woman, if you like her, she's good to you, she crosses off, she ticks all the boxes, she doesn't have red flags. Sure. If that's what you want, then do it. But I would structure your wealth in such a way that there's some distance between you and problems, because you live in a state where it's shared custody by default. What's that footballer's name? Hakimi? You heard about this guy?
Yeah.
So he had nothing in his name. Now, if you're with a chick, you're dating her for 2-3 years, and then, she's pregnant all of a sudden, and halfway through the pregnancy, you move all of your assets out of your name into your mom's name. And then the marriage doesn't work out 5-6 years later, and you've got 3 kids. Because you did that to clearly and obviously protect your assets before, the first child was born during her pregnancy, the courts could turn back the clock on that if she's got a good lawyer, depending on what the law says where you live, right? So from day one, before you get married, you might want to structure your wealth in such a way that it's protected. And you can talk to a family lawyer about how to do that in your state, but there's probably going to be some options that'll be presented to you. You see what I'm saying? Like, as far as the wealth part goes, but what you're really doing is you're vetting her for mother stock.
Yeah, I appreciate the practical tips on the wealth and the vetting process, and I've heard you talk about this before. I guess my real question for you, because you've talked about how you have offspring, is that dynamic, that relationship, having children, is that really significantly different than just having meaningful relationships with other people in your life, whether that's your coworkers or your friends?
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, when you've got a child and you look at them, it's funny. There was a stand-up comic that made a joke about this, because I'm divorced, so I can kind of relate. He said something along the lines of, you look at your kid, and your kid half looks like you and half looks like somebody that you kind of hate right now. But look, man, it's, you pass on your name, you pass on your legacy, you pass on your genetic code. It is the reason why we are on the earth, to scatter seed and do this. It's totally different from friendships. Like, you'll probably find that friendships and network and community and doing stuff that you're like, I love going on supercar rallies with my friends. I just love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I wish I could do it every day. But watching a bunch of, tween girls playing baseball, it's my duty as a father to participate in that and to do the driving around and haul the shit and, bring kids around if I got it, sort of thing. But it's not as fun as hanging out with my friends driving, in supercar rallies. Just isn't. So it's just a different kind of fulfillment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Unfortunately, I don't know what you
Right,
mean,
but
because I haven't done it.
but it is a different kind of fulfillment that you can't experience having great relationships and friendships with other guys or other communities that you're involved in that you like. It doesn't matter if it's like model building or golfing or whatever that, that thing happens to be that you build it around. I think children are just different in that sense, and it's a moving target. Small children are wonderful. From the age of birth to like 2 or 3 sucks. The first couple years blow, diapers, screaming all night, just sucks. Okay. And then they start to have a little bit of a character and they're fun, and you take them to the park. And from that age up to about 7, 8, 9, 10, cool. And then they kind of like move into that period where they're turning into like more of an adult, and you don't matter so much anymore. You're now a taxi service, you're an ATM, you're can I stay out over here and do this with this person? And they're looking for permission. If they don't like it, they get all hissy and shit like that. And then your job is to parent. Your job is to set boundaries and guidelines around that child, so they have the potential to do something useful with their life, to make you proud. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of fighting too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing your experience, and Rich, thanks for everything you do. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, Stephen. I hope you get and do whatever it is that you want that fills your cup, my man.
All right.
The key thing is, though, is don't have kids just to have kids. I'm going to tell you this, before you go, have kids with the right woman. Make sure that you select the mother stock correctly, because that will make your experience, that could make your experience a fucking living nightmare, a complete hell, to absolute bliss. I know guys that are still married to their wives, their kids are all adults, they've got great family, everybody's wonderful, sort of thing. It's rare, but it takes the right man in the right masculine role to lead, and the right woman to want to follow that leader, if you know what I mean, and to be a complement to his life. And like, there's a lot of things to contemplate. You know, if you have small kids and you've got the means, I wouldn't put them in the school system. I would homeschool them, and I would have a mother that was willing to homeschool them. So, I mean, if I could go back in a time machine and do it over again, I would certainly set a certain list of parameters and prerequisites that would need to be met if I were to ever have kids with a chick. Otherwise, she would just be for fun, or she would just be for entertainment or something casual. And I'd have other chicks on the go, and I'd wait for, you know, which one to like stand out and be obvious to me that would be good mother stock.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
I learned that the hard way, you know, with the divorce. But
Yeah.
I find it's easy to spin plates now, you know, but it's, when I think about it realistically from a timeline perspective, you know, I'm already in my early 40s, finding good mother stock, you know, with the age gap difference, and then taking the time to vet them and so forth. I mean, this really kind of pushes it out. So I'm just wondering, you know, do I put effort into something that might not have a high probability of materializing, or do I just continue to chase excellence, you know, in business and you know, internal experience?
I wouldn't chase women. I would chase excellence. And if you're dating anyway, like, is that what you're doing?
Well, I mean, I travel around the world, so you know, as I travel around, I got, you know, different women I talk to in different parts of the world. But I literally live in an ashram. When I'm in monk mode, like for real. Like I spend hours a day meditating. You know, I live in a community, and it's really great. With the rest of the time I spend, you know, pursuing excellence in my business career. It's a unique situation I have here, but it's not the best opportunity to like meet women on a daily up here.
Yeah. You would be a really good candidate for my 1% community. I've got lots of really good members in Tennessee, dude. There's some very good friends of mine that live in Tennessee that would get along great with a guy like you. So, I mean, if you're looking for community, if you're looking for a lot of like-minded men that you can chop up ideas like this and do more than just what you're at right now, then I would definitely get into that. That's always pinned in the top comment of my videos. But you sound like a solid dude that's asking the right questions. I would keep chasing the excellence. Obviously, you like women, so date women. You're gonna have to make some changes on how to do that a little bit better. And then if it's obvious and clear that you've got a woman in your life that's worthy of putting babies in, then contemplate it then, but only after you test her for a few years to see how she stacks up. Because women today are not like we have to work today as men probably 2, 3, 4, 5 times as hard to get a woman that's half as good as what my granddad got. Honestly, dude, women today aren't as good as what our grandfathers, you know, could get. And they're a little messed up with the lifestyle choices and everything that they've gone through, you know, sort of their younger, more formative years, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hear you. Rich, you've been gracious with your time. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Steve. Take care. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.